think it's to not take people how they come. Like that, in a lot of cases, like you might think that there's something bleak and something horrible, but actually, if you got to know somebody or got to understand them better, then actually they've got another side, which is quite warped. Because I don't want to say Death's a nice guy, but he seems to be by the end of it. So yeah, the moral is kind of like don't judge a book by its cover.
Don't buy Dr. Pepper from Waitrose. Always check the back of your car for a scythe. Don't be Death. There wasn't really a moral apart from just maybe, Death isn't bad, he just does a very good job of his job, so I really couldn't think of a moral.
I do think the music worked well. It helped along with the acting to emphasise the depressing atmosphere.
I think it represents a tragedy genre quite well. Obviously they have the comedic elements where they're relating to Facebook, the Michael Jackson thing, obviously because that gives the audience sort of a little giggle, but most of it's really represented how depressed that person is, the repetition, how he can't get out of it as well, so I think it's all represented really well.
Yeah, I think it was done really well because he was appearing out of nowhere. It was sort of like a sort of immortal sort of feeling, sort of out of the world really, so I really liked the transition used at first when he appeared on the first scene. That was original, it was really good, and it was quite surprising how he sort of appeared in the car as well, so really good.
I think he was represented very well, quite a sinister character. Been made to feel sorry for him at times, and it was just a daily job that he just had to get on with, sort of thing. So.
I feel like it showed it in a really effective way, and the music created a huge amount of sympathy for him, as well as keeping the film on a comical level.
I think the music and use of loneliness portrayed his depression very well, and all the events, such as not being able to sleep and trying to kill himself, told us he was depressed as well.
I think it represented it well because it stereotypes depressed behaviour, whereas he's walking, dragging his feet, he drinks a lot and he's on the computer a lot and things like that.
At the middle of the film, it was quite humorous when he sort of was making the pasta and the Michael Jackson thing. Thought that was sort of quite funny. But towards the end, I sort of felt a bit sorry for him, a bit of sympathy towards him, as he seemed quite lonely, and I presume that's why he's sort of decided to quit.
Well, first, I'll class it as a horror at the beginning because the concept of death being around and killing everyone is just kind of ruthless. And then, in the middle bit, the comedy, I thought it was a bit, comedic because of the whole Michael Jackson thing with the death declaration and drinking alcohol and making food, going about his daily life like he's human, but it's actually not. And the whole Facebook thing where he was on Most Haunted. But then I thought it was sad when he tried to kill himself, but he can't because he's immortal. So.
At first I thought it was a scary film because the Grim Reaper is just quite a scary image, and then it sort of turned into a comedy because Death is really human and there's the Michael Jackson joke which is really funny, but then at the end it was really sad, so it turned into a tragedy.
Although Death seemed depressed, you don't expect the suicide to happen, and even though there was another twist as he shot himself and failed, and it ended on an uplifting ending when you can see the other scrunched up suicide notes which you don't expect.
I'd probably give it about 8.5 out of 10. Because I thought it was original, it was well shot, and it was a really interesting storyline, it was really different.
I'd give it a high mark, probably about an 8, just because it gave a new take on the way people saw Death and the way people assumed he would be. And as well, it had some funny moments in, and I thought the sound effects were really, really good in it. It worked really well.